This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first, I want to talk about something we all know way too much about: moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out. Whether you're looking to move now or in the future, it's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. I'm so excited to have my next guest on the podcast, Tierra Haynes, from Mommy on the Move and wife of DeAndre Haynes, assistant men's basketball coach for Marquette. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so tomorrow, as this is being recorded, which, it's going to release a little bit later, but you are getting on a plane to go to the NCAA tournament with Marquette. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Are you just feeling like all the nerves right now?
Yes. Yes. Very nervous. I mean, it's just that time of year. We love on these boys all year. We watch them put in all this hard work, and you just want to see them reap the benefits of all the hard work that they've put in. And so, yeah. And I mean, if you are a fan of March Madness, anything goes in March. And so, everybody's always rooting for the underdog and then, hoping for these really exciting games. Meanwhile, I'm just hoping for like a easy peasy, calm blowout on our end,
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, I did pick you in my bracket. So I was filling out last night. I was like, we're going to give Marquette some love.
We got to give them a little love. Yes.
That's right. Okay, so give us an inside life here in March Madness. Walk me through what the day looks like for you. Possibly, I know you don't know exactly what time you're leaving at, but just you've done this before. So what does it look like, and how long are you there? What do you do while they practice and all the good stuff?
So the theme of March is unpredictable at the end of the day. So we don't find out until Selection Sunday, which is the Sunday, the same week as March Madness starts. So today is Tuesday. 2 days ago on Sunday, we found out that it was confirmed that we were going a part of March Madness, and B, what city we're going to and what team we're going to play. So there's multiple cities that you can end up going to. We are going to Cleveland, which is really funny because that's where I'm from. So we're going back home. That's never a bad thing for me. So we're super excited about that. But so we find that out on Sunday, and then you're just in go mode, like packing bags. I've got 3 boys. I've got a husband on crutches right now because why not? Why not keep March exciting?
Oh my word. So you're taking care of him.
So I'm taking care of him. And so I'm packing 5 bags and we're loading up the truck and we got to get to the airport. And I still, like you said, I still don't know what time I'm even supposed to be at the airport tomorrow. But, the theme for this month is unpredictable and we just roll with it. You just got to be ready to go. You go play your games. You hope you win. And then if you win out that weekend, you fly back home, dump those bags in the washing machine, wash everything, pack it back up, and get back on the road again. So, yeah.
Do you take your boys out of school to go do this?
Absolutely. Every chance I get.
Absolutely.
We got lucky this year. So this week they'll miss 2.5 days of school. And then next week is spring break. So we make it
perfect time to go on a run.
Yes. So we make it to Sweet 16, Elite 8. The boys will be out of school anyway. But honestly, it's such an opportunity to be able to participate in March Madness. There's over 350 basketball teams in the country, and only 68 get to participate in this, in this part of it. And so the chance to do this as a team, but then also as a family, those moments are fleeting. Our on paper, it seems as if we just get to go all the time, and we've been really, really blessed to be a part of some really great programs, and we have participated in a lot of March Madness opportunities, but it's never lost on me that it can be taken away any year. You can go to, you have teams that are in a one bid league that you have to win the conference tournament, and that's the only way you can go. So there's all these different ways that March can end for all these different teams. And so absolutely, I think, we only have so many years with them where they'll be on this journey literally with us. And nothing has been highlighted more than that this last couple of years. I got a junior in high school this year who loves to remind me every other day, Mom, this is one of the last times we get to do such and such. I'm like, okay, if you hate me and you want me to cry every day, just say that, okay? Stop saying it. Stop talking about it.
End that now.
Stop talking about it. But these are memories that we as a family have and will look back on forever and cherish. And so, if they miss a couple of math assignments or whatever. And honestly, the boys teachers have been great forever. Every year since we've been traveling, I let them know at the beginning of the school year when I first meet them in the conference. I remind them again in January, like, okay, guys, March is coming up and we're going to be gone. So they've always been great. And so some teachers give us a couple of assignments for the boys to do while we're gone. We rearranged testing. My oldest son has exams this week, actually. And so he's taking some of his exams a little early so that we can have that out of the way. But nothing supersedes this opportunity for us. And it's just a couple of days of school. They'll be all right.
That's right. They will be all right. Okay. Describe yourself on game day in 3 words.
Oh, in 3 words.
Yeah.
Not a lady. I get really intense on game day. I'm already a mama bear anyway. I'm raising 3 boys. You got to have a certain level of toughness to you when you're a boy mom. And now I got 16 boys on top of the 3 boys that I birthed. I got these other 16 boys that I'm fiercely, protective of, and I just want to see them do well. And so yeah, I'm into it. It's very intense.
All right. What about Coach? What's he like?
Coach is routine. He likes a good routine. He has a schedule that he follows. I wouldn't call it superstitious, but routine is probably a good word for it. Yeah, he's definitely the calm to my storm that I bring to the table.
You sound fun. I'll tell you that. I don't want to sit beside you, Tierra.
You do. It could get interesting sitting next to me at a game.
I know. Somebody says if I'm really quiet and I'm doing this, like, watch out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm quiet, there's a big problem. I am holding my tongue with every single thing.
Yes.
There's too many people around and I can't say what I want to say. Okay, so does it have a different twist for you because you were a student athlete at Kent State, ran track? How cool is that?
Crazy.
Do you remember what they feel?
To a certain extent, I wouldn't compare my experience as a walk-on track athlete to what these guys are experiencing at the highest level of college basketball and athletics. But to a certain degree, I do think there is a level of participating as an athlete that I do just understand as far as preparation and, game day jitters and all those types of things, right? So I do think there's an aspect. I can't speak from the opposite because I've always been an athlete, so I don't know what it's like to not be one. But yeah, I think there's a level of understanding there, and then also parenting athletes because all of our boys are athletes as well. So just being able to see and provide the softer side, in contrast to the toughness that they always tough it out, get up, it's going to be okay. But then, as a mom to athletes being like, well, how did that make you feel? And adding that mental, health aspect to it, I think is really huge and important too. So yeah,
it's a big deal. Okay, how did you meet Coach? Give us all the fun details.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are what I guess you would call college sweethearts. I don't like to really give it that term because that makes it sound way cuter than how it really is. it was a little bit messy, but you young in college, you kind of, are you together? Are you not? We don't know. We wasn't together until we was together. I mean, but yes, we met at Kent State University in Northeast Ohio back in 2002. I just feel like I aged myself by giving that information.
Mine's a little older than that. We're good with it. I met Coach Eargle in 2000. I got you beat.
You did, yep, just by that much.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We look good.
Yeah.
We look
Listen. I'm claiming it. That's okay. We're good.
It's okay. I have a lot of under eye cream on right now, but it's all right.
We're gonna filter this, right?
Okay, so y'all met in 2002.
Yes, we met in 2002. We both graduated from Kent State. He went overseas to play basketball in Europe, and I went to go visit. I was supposed to go visit for 2 weeks, and I got over there. I had graduated, and I didn't have a job yet, and I was supposed to stay for 2 weeks, and I was like, I'm not ready to go home yet. I ended up staying for 2 months, and we got pregnant. So
there you go.
There you go. That's one way to extend the trip. By any means necessary, I guess, right? And so then we spent 6 years overseas with our oldest son.
Wow.
Traveling. We went to 4 different countries, I believe, and then came back, and his first coaching job was back at our alma mater at Kent State. We spent 4 years there, 1 year at the University of Toledo, 2 months at Illinois State University. Yes, 2 months, and 2 years at University of Michigan, 2 years at the University of Maryland, and now this is ending our 4th season, rounding out our 4th season here at Marquette.
Wow. Okay, so going back a little bit, did you have your son overseas, or did you come back to the States?
I didn't, and it's one of those things. I won't say I regret it, but I wish I would have had outside counsel to talk me through what that would have been like. I mean, how cool would that have been for him to have dual citizenship? I was just like, I'm trying to be at home with my mama. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, for sure. I would have had that baby at home too. I'm no judgment there.
I was 23 and he didn't know anything about kids. I didn't know anything. I was like, I'm going to be with my mama. You do what you need to do. We'll meet up later. So yeah, I mean, it was crazy though, because we were trying to time, my oldest was born in November. So we're in season, in the thick of it. And the team that he was on at the time was so helpful. They were so great. They bought him a ticket just to be ready to, like, they gave him a special phone, like,
really,
so I could call him when I was in labor. And I was trying to wait till the last minute, because I was like, I can't get this wrong, because if he hops on that plane, I gotta have this baby. We can't go back.
Right. So
I was trying to wait till the last minute, and he got on a plane. It was right after a game, came home. He missed the birth by 6 hours. So yeah, by the time he landed in Chicago, coming from Brussels, Belgium, people had already started sending him like pictures of the baby, and so he just missed it, but that's the life sometimes, right?
Oh my goodness. And for you, being a strong woman and being okay and plowing through all that, that's amazing.
Thank God my mama was there.
Yes. And, thank God for mamas.
Thank God for mamas. My parents were there. His parents came. His 2 best friends came. So I was surrounded by people, but of course nothing, compares to having him there. But thankfully we got to do it 2 more times. So he was there. So it's fine.
There you go. Okay. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops. He has been at some pretty special basketball programs. I mean, you're sitting one right now. It's pretty neat. A lot of tradition there. What do you think it's about him that makes people go, he's got to be a part of this stuff?
Yeah, he is absolutely a relationship guy. That's always been who he is. He relates to the players on another level. Obviously, he played for a really long time. He played, he was a pretty good player in college. I won't do this horn for him, but he did all right.
I mean, you can. Come on, let's all enjoy.
I mean, maybe he's in the Hall of Fame at Kent State University. Maybe he was an AP All-American. I don't know. Maybe
We'll check the stats. That sounds good.
We'll check this. Google him. Don't worry about it.
We'll Google it.
But there's just a level of respect that he gets immediately from his players because he was a former player. And so when you asked me that question earlier, do I have a different understanding as a previous athlete? I think he absolutely does have a different understanding. And so he can talk to them in a different way and communicate with them and relate to them on a different level because he's been in their shoes. Maybe not at the same level, but definitely gone through the trenches and done all the things that they're doing. So there's absolutely a level of respect that he gets from his players because he's done it.
Love it. Okay, so you have a podcast of your own. You're an author. Tell me all about Mommy on the Move. Where did it start? It's not rare. It's rare that you have this profession. So how did it go?
So honestly, a lot of it came from just trying to find my own lane while he's doing what he does, right? We've done all these moves. And I think it's one thing to create a space for yourself. And it's still really difficult because nobody knows how long you're going to be somewhere. But, I know plenty of coaches that and their families that have been in stops for years, for 10 years or 15 years or whatever. That hasn't been our journey. And so to pick up and move literally every 2 years for the first few years of this journey. When he was working at Kent State, I actually worked at Kent State. I had a full-time job there. I was the special events coordinator for the College of Nursing at Kent State University there. And then once we moved and we were away from family, we decided that I would stay at home with the boys. And so I did the stay-at-home mom thing for I'm still doing it, but I did it for 2 or 3 years. And I just felt like I was searching for me in social media, in Pinterest, in Google image searches, anywhere, right? Because I didn't have anybody in my close friends or family that was living this life that was not only a stay-at-home mom, but a stay-at-home mom to a basketball coach who's on the road constantly. And he's not a 9-to-5 guy. He's not walking in the door and helping with dinner and bath times, right? I'm doing a lot of this solo. And so I'm not a single mom, but I'm also not a typical stay-at-home mom where the husband comes home and helps do, and we get to do all these things as partners. I'm carrying a lot of the load myself. And I just felt like I didn't see anybody having real conversations. I saw a lot of curated content. I saw a lot of my children are my world. And, but nobody was talking about how annoying these people can be sometimes. Nobody was talking about that. And, with humor and, and it was I felt like it was a lot of apologizing in motherhood. And I didn't want that. I wanted a safe space to be myself, to be able to talk how I talk, look how I look, and speak how I speak. And that just be it. And so I started a podcast and I just, was having the real raw conversations that I wanted to have, that I felt like pertained to me and my journey in motherhood, and hoped that it would reach other people and it would connect with them. And I think we did that a little bit. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I get to ask you a tough question, which is, what is the toughest adversity you faced, and what or who did you rely on to get through those moments?
Oh, man. Probably the toughest adversity was we were at the University of Michigan, end of our second year there. We had just so our first year we go to the Final Four, second year we go to the Sweet 16. So we've had 2 phenomenal years. And we are watching ESPN on May, I think 11th. It was like the day after Mother's Day that year in 2018, I think. And we see on ESPN at the ticker that the head coach of our program has left and taken another job. And we had no idea. And so it left us in limbo, and I think, talking about college basketball being up and down and unpredictable is one thing, but experiencing that up and down and that transition is really difficult. And my husband was in a moment where he didn't know if he was going to be able to provide for our family. It's May. I mean, if there is a time where you don't want to be a coach without a job, it's May. So our faith got us through that time. And it was things that we were experiencing and building on years before that we had no idea we were going to have to pull on in this way. But we were so blessed to have an amazing church family from when we lived in Kent. That was still our pastor, from then. And every year at the Final Four, they host church. Then they have church, and then they also have a marriage luncheon that we can go to. And so just pulling from different people's examples that they were able to share and be honest and transparent about in their transitions, we were able to pull on that and pull strength from that. And so, I mean, we were really blessed. Our transition only lasted, a couple of months, and we were able to get into Maryland pretty quickly and have a great run there as well. But it was a really scary time for us. I mean, I think, when we're talking about what was the hardest when it comes to, basketball life and coaching life, that was definitely one of the hardest times. And for sure, our faith is what got us through that.
Oh, I love that testimony. A lot of times what we do, I feel like, and you probably talk to coaches' wives as well, is that we get through that rough patch and we get everybody settled. And then a couple of months down the road, we kind of look back and go, oh my gosh, that was really hard. Yeah. And it's almost like it doesn't hit us in the moment. It does. We cry, we get to the emotions, but later on you're like, what did we just walk through?
What was that? I mean, you're in survival mode. You can't even breathe. Like you're afraid to really, you almost can't let yourself feel it in the moment because I can't break down right now. I don't have time to break down. We got stuff to do. And so, yeah, there was a moment I remember vividly where he and I just kind of looked at each other once we moved to Maryland, and we, and we were just like, we made it.
We made it. I know.
We made it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And then also almost having to forgive the people in that scenario and how things were handled. That's the toughest part, I think, of being a coach's wife that we don't talk about. That because I've learned in this 20-something years of being in this business, if you keep carrying this with you, it's like going to destroy you. They're not thinking about you anymore.
Absolutely. So it was one of those pivotal moments for me where I had to realize that we love a game that won't always love us back, which was tough. It's tough because you watch your husband and by proxy, myself and our children devote so much to this game that at the end of the day is a business. And so it made us look at things differently as far as like making sure we protect our families and finding that balance between protecting ourselves and not letting it harden us to how we move and how we treat people and where our loyalties lie and, different things like that. Right. Because I found myself at first being like, we're never gonna stay loyal to somebody because they can eventually. It took some time and some prayer and it took a while because that really rocked us to our core. And it was really difficult. And so to get to the point where, again, you just find that balance between like, okay, what's best for our family, but also we're still going to be a family of our word, because even though that was really hard and we didn't see a way out of it, God still made a way, and he made it more than okay. He made it so okay that we even won a championship that year. So don't worry about where, making sure that you're not too loyal and this. Be who you are, be who God created you to be, and he's going to make a way even at the table of your enemies. But I'm not.
I love this. Okay.
I love a good Bible verse that I can still be.
Come on, just platform, open floor right here. So one of the things that I am in a stage now, because my daughter is 13, I have a special needs 12-year-old and 8-year-old. Okay. And that 12-year-old, walking her through this last transition. And that's a big thing. You probably walked through, with your sons. Yes. Because they were like, what, 10-ish or something? I don't remember what age.
The last transition, yes.
Last transition would have been.
Last transition, we were about 13.
11, 12, 13. Yes. So same age as mine right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And walking through that through the eyes of, okay, God's got us. We don't really see it. We don't really know why. Yeah. But he has a purpose for our lives. Yeah. I think that's something very special that coaches, families, if they're believers, really get to navigate situations that you know, sometimes you wouldn't have navigated those thoughts. You wouldn't have
Absolutely.
navigated those emotions. And yet they can learn that at a young age. That is
Yeah.
a good side effect to having to move a lot.
Yeah. I think, being a family of faith in this journey, honestly, I don't know how people do it without.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know how anybody is standing without, leaning on God in such an unpredictable situation. But our family scripture is Jeremiah 29:11. And we get to see that day in and day out, year in and year out. We get to talk about things not being fair. We get to talk
Mhm.
about putting in a whole lot of hard work and it's still not happening the way you think it should. We get to talk about maybe we think somebody's not doing things the right way, but
Mhm. Yeah.
they seemingly get the win, but you know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yes. Comparison's your journey.
oh yeah. So we get to have all of those different conversations and still look at all of the things that God still has done, even in the midst of what we feel like is unfair or maybe a loss or all of those things. And in it, using the game of basketball, obviously this is a huge part of our lives because it is how we make a living. It is our bread and butter, and we're emotionally, spiritually invested in everything that comes with it. But there's so many other things outside of basketball that are happening. We're healthy. We have our health. Our families are healthy. We have a place to live. We're, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so when we kind of pull ourselves out of
Mhm.
the self-centered pieces of
Mhm.
that journey, and we can kind of pull ourselves back and be like, hey, this part really stinks, but look at all these other places and spaces that God has continued to provide. And even the place that stinks, God still, was able to provide. And where can we find the blessings in those losses? So,
Something you said a few minutes ago that really struck a chord with me, which is, when you go through those transition times, you want to pull back a little bit, but to continue to be who you are. And you mentioned something at the very top of the show, which was you have 16 sons or,
yeah, yeah,
people part of your family
yes,
that you are invested in.
yeah.
How do you show them? How do you go hard over bar? Just we're going to pour in no matter if they're here for 1 year, thanks to the portal, or we get them for all 4.
Things like we can have a whole other show about the portal. Um, um, we are we really, and not to sound super churchy or perfect about this, right? But we really consider this a ministry for our
Mhm.
family. I feel like this is my husband's ministry is to do life with these players. We take that on as a family. So we host our players a lot and often. I cook.
Do you cook? I was gonna ask you,
Oh
are you
yeah.
cooking, mama?
I'm cooking. We do a lot of game nights, so that's kind of our thing. We host game nights a lot. So I cook. The boys come and eat. They watch a movie or whatever. Then we turn on some music, and then it's time to play. And our boys are in there. I play. We're recording, and and so a lot of that is really just it's so important. And I think, because we lived overseas, we know what it's like to feel displaced and to
Mhm.
feel out of pocket, right? Neither one of us went away to school. Like Dre was, he's from Detroit and he went to school in Ohio, not super far away. I was 45 minutes from home, right?
Mhm.
But going overseas and being away on holidays and being away,
Mhm.
for weddings and funerals and birthdays, and you miss all of that stuff. And it can be really difficult, and it can really be a void when you're, especially at such a young age. And so one of the main things that we tell any recruit when they come is if your son comes here, we got him. Like,
Mhm.
and honestly, my husband still has a relationship with a lot of the kids that they don't even commit to our school. He's still like checking in on them and like, but yeah, I mean, we let them know like they are a part of this family, like not just the school family, but they're a part of this family. And I don't take that lightly at all, especially as a mom, knowing what it feels like to have to pass your baby along to
Mhm.
somebody else. And so I don't take that lightly. And so we have Thanksgiving here. They've been over for New Year's. They've been over for. We don't usually have to have Christmas here, but we do it all. We do a
Yeah.
summer barbecue. We do all kinds of stuff, and we spend a lot of time with our guys very intentionally. They are my son's big brothers.
Yes.
And it's been great. We've been very blessed that to recruit such high quality and character kids that I feel comfortable having them in my home and saying, "Can you talk? Come get your brother because he's tripping. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. I need you to knock him upside his head a little bit for me." And to this day, I can still lean on older players that we've had to mentor my oldest son, or even my younger ones, and be like, "Man, what's up? Why ain't I listening to your mama? What's going on?"
Exactly.
So I don't take that lightly at all, and I feel really blessed.
Okay, so mommy on the move, what are your best tips for getting involved in a new community? And talk to somebody that's about to move, because it's in basketball, it's about to have their transition time.
Yeah. And it's already starting for some, honestly, because so many teams are already done before March Madness. So so it's already starting. The first thing, and I hope I'm not too long-winded after I've been running my mouth for like 30 minutes, right? The first thing I would say, it took me a while after that first move. I was having a conversation with a fellow coach's wife, and I was talking about, I don't even feel like it's a point in unpacking everything. Like, what's the point? Because we're just going to move again. And she told me, "You got to unpack," but she was not talking about boxes. She was talking about emotionally. Not only was I refusing to unpack boxes, but I was unconsciously refusing to really connect with people, because what was the point? We're just gonna pick up and move anyway. And so I would say, be willing and open. One, you never know how long you're going to be in a place. We go into every situation hoping that that's the place we get to spend a good amount of time, right? I did not expect to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin ever, let alone for 4 years, right? And so, looking back, it's like how many people, relationships, opportunities I could have missed if I hadn't just been locked into where we are. So lock in, church, your kids' sports, mom groups, whatever you need to do, figure it out so that you can find your people. And it's not easy, especially at this age, and especially as transient as we are. It can be really difficult, but just being open to it, I think a lot of times helps that a lot. And be willing to be the one to say, "Hey, you want to go? Let's go have a drink," or "Do you want to meet up?" or "Do you like to walk? You want to walk together while the kids are at practice?" or whatever the case may be. I think just even being open mentally and emotionally to making those connections, I think makes a huge difference.
Okay, so you're an author. I want to make sure we squeeze this in here.
Yes.
Tell me about your book. When did you write a book? How did you get it published? I'm so impressed.
Thank you. So I'm self-published. The book, it's a series actually, and it's called The Adventures of Us. And so each book we get to know a different African-American history. So the first book is we get to know Guyon Bluford Jr., who's the first Black astronaut. And the second book is we get to know Teresa Singleton, who's the first Black female archaeologist. And it really was just a passion project of mine. Getting your kids into the school system, especially in the suburbs, learning Black history is very far and few in between. And what they learn is pretty typical. They kind of learn the same three people: Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and slavery. That's kind of all we talk about for the most part in school. At least that's what my kids were getting. And so I took it upon myself to give them their history at home. Especially, I'm raising 3 Black boys. And our lives revolve around basketball. And the first thing people walk up to them and say is, "Oh, you're going to be a basketball player." I don't want them to have that pressure. If you love to play basketball, great. But you can, you can also have multi interests and love all of these other things. And so I wanted them to know, hey, if you love science, maybe you'll love being an astronaut. Or how can we connect basketball and science and find a way to, put those, you love photography and basketball. Hey, I got a really great way you can put that together, and it doesn't have to involve you actually playing the sport. And so it was really important to me for them to know what they were capable of. And it was really important to me that they saw representation of themselves in all of these different areas. We don't have any astronauts in our family. We don't have any archaeologists in our family, but I wanted them to know that there are people like them that have already broken that barrier. And so you don't have to be the first. You don't have to be because somebody's already done it. And so let me show you how they did it, because they just really love to do puzzles. And then that led to this, and then that led to this. So anyway, it is my opportunity to share our Black history with joy, with excitement, with imagination, with creativity. My boys are the main characters in the books,
That's so
and
cool.
it's kind of a combination of the Magic School Bus meets Mr. Peabody and Sherman. They use their imaginations to travel back in time, and they end up in outer space. And then in the second book, they end up in Cuba on an archaeology dig. And so, yeah, it's just a way to do something fun. My favorite part right now is getting into classrooms and reading the books to students. It's for ages 5 to 10. And so I love getting in the classroom and reading to them and letting them ask me questions. They always love to ask me, how old am I? And what are the kids' favorite colors? I don't know why that somehow that always comes up. But that's been it was a passion project of mine. I'm self-published. I wrote the first book in COVID, actually, when the world shut down. I had the idea since 2016, and my husband was like, all right, we ain't got nothing else to do, so go upstairs and write that book. I got the kids for a couple hours. And that's how it got done.
Incredible. What surprised you going through this process? And then what are you most proud of?
Oh, what surprised me? How much it cost. My God. I was like, it's just 24 pages, guys. I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for that. But so that part, really.
Okay. Good to
sticker
know.
shock was real. Sticker shock was real. But also, it wasn't hard. Like I having resources and an editor and an illustrator, obviously those things helped a lot. But I just had it made up in my mind that writing a book was a much hard, and it's hard. I mean, it's not easy, but it wasn't as hard as, it wasn't impossible, I guess is the best way to say it. And what was the last question?
What's the most rewarding piece of it to you?
Oh man, my boys beam with pride to tell people that their mom is an author. They always tell their teachers first, like in the beginning of the school year before I get a chance to do it. They always take a book to class. The last couple of years, the school used to always have like a dress up as a character day for a book. They dress up as themselves for the first couple of years. And I was just really proud. I mean, like, how cool and what an opportunity that was for them to be able to do that. So that was really cool. And then I have an article in the Washington Post sports section. And then I also got a March Madness feature last year about me. So I mean, any chance to kind of one up my husband in the sports area, I'll take that.
That's amazing. Okay, so before we end, how can someone get a hold of your book or books?
Yes. So the first book, The Adventures of Us Getting to Know Guyan Bluford Jr., that is available on Amazon, only on Amazon. And then the second book, The Adventures of Us Getting to Know Teresa Singleton, is available on my website, www.mommyonthemove.info.
All right, love it. Okay, rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Ready.
Who is the most famous person in your phone?
Oh, probably Jordan Poole.
What's one item on your bucket list you've checked off and one left to check off?
I wrote a book. One left to check off is to meet Oprah.
Who are the last 3 people you have texted?
My mom, my dad, my husband.
Funniest account you follow on Instagram?
Oh, that's tough. Oh, you know who I love right now? I think it's the Vargo family. I think that's their Instagram name. It's a husband and wife, and they do these like skits all the time of each other. He wears a backwards baseball cap, and then he always mocks the wife like carrying around the Stanley Cup. They're hilarious. I love everything they do.
What about your life impresses your kids the most?
Oh man. Probably seeing themselves on TV.
What would be your walk-up song?
Oh, anything Beyonce.
There you go.
I'm a diva. I'm a diva.
There's one thing I can't do, and I can't sing, so I'm not going to join you because people would completely shut this podcast off right now. It's okay.
Well, you might just put her over me singing it at the end. Don't.
I love it. Hey, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate what you're doing. Everyone go follow her.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.